Brought to you by Mr. Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Mr. Pros TV, and today we're in Tucson, we're not in Tucson anymore. We were in Tucson yesterday. We're in Tempe, Arizona, in our studio, and we have Brad Stiehl of Realty One Group. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me here
Thanks for having me, Jordan.
Real Estate Pros. So we'll give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself for those that are watching that don't know who you are, a little bit about yourself, like what interested you in getting into real estate and what you did previously. And how long you've been in real estate?
Okay, yeah, I got into real estate in 2005. After graduating from ASU, I was just going to get my license, and I was like, I'll just get my license for my own investments, and I kind of fell into it, skipped going to grad school, got my license, started real estate at that time. Obviously, it was a good time, 2005, 2006,
Yeah.
And then obviously the bottom fell out, so it was tough to get buyers to find homes for at that time. So I got into it, struggled through it for a while, then the market crashed, obviously, in 2008. I then started hustling as hard as I could to get buyers and work deals and get the best deals I could on REO, short sales, stuff like that. And from that point, as the market got better, I was able to get more into a listing position because I'm mainly a listing agent. And going from there was obviously tough, but I've been doing it now for almost 12 years.
Oh, wow. So how were you able to, we know a lot of agents that got in the business around that time. Oh, the market is booming, and then it falls out, you know. How are you able to sustain your business through the downturn and everything?
You definitely have to put the work in at that time. I had investors that would come into this, into the scene at that time, and I'd be working on them, driving them throughout the valley, showing them any home possible because they wanted the best deals. So a lot of times that consisted of going out, in the outskirts of the parts of town, be it Maricopa, Buckeye, and finding them the best deal. Driving, taking care of that was a lot of work for a small, transaction. But, you did it, you hustle. And the outcome was, clients that were there for you through the hard times and then are here later to sell their homes. So it's a lot of work, but it's obviously paid off, and now it's in a lot better position.
Right. So how have you seen the real estate industry as a whole kind of evolve from 2005 into 2009, and maybe your specific business as well?
It's a lot better now because now, obviously, in the Phoenix market, it's a seller's market. So a lot of the homes that my clients bought through me years ago have gone up a lot in equity. So now selling them, they're very happy. That's kind of one thing that I do. It's quite a bit different than a lot of other agents. I have a program that no other agent has, and that's where I offer my own money up front to help pay for upgrades.
Nice.
That can then ultimately get the client's home sold faster and for more money. How this program works is we walk the property. We then see, hey, new countertops or refinishing the cabinets, some carpet, some paint to freshen it up could definitely add value. I then dig into my own pocket, pay for my contractors to take care of these items. Then when we list our product, which we have Lister Pros do the photos, of course, because they're the best, we then list the property, and it sells a lot faster and for a lot more money, which is huge in in our current market.
Right. So that is an interesting program. That's something that I've never heard of from another agent offering their own money up front, which can definitely, with the right upgrades and the right staging or how you do that, the house up front could definitely net your sellers more than even the amount that you put into it on the specific upgrade. So talk to me a little bit about, what are the common things that, sellers are utilizing the $3,500 for, and how it's impacted the sale of your clients' homes.
It's definitely just like HDTV. It's definitely in the kitchen and bathrooms.
Right.
We make sure that the countertops are a granite or a nice quartz on every home usually, and then refinishing of the cabinets. A lot of people like the white color or gray, stuff like that. So we just try to modernize the home to appeal to the masses, because I walk with a lot of buyers constantly, and they tell me what they like, and I implement that information into my sellers and say, hey, this is what they're looking for. This is what I recommend. I actually had a seller in March that I sold his house, and he had cultured marble tops in the bathroom with nice bowls, and I said, you need to change these. I know you don't want to do it. I'm going to pay for it. It's going to matter. We end up selling that house in 5 days. So,
wow.
The quartz tops are important, and just clean, not outdated items. People don't want the colors that were 10 years ago. They want a good home, but they want the finishes too, because right now the buyers in our market, they have the down payment, but they don't have the money beyond that to get the things they like, and they want them up front if possible, and that's where my program allows that to be the whole setup.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about that, because maybe there's some fine print to it. We know that traditional real estate is sold at usually 6%. There's 3% to the buyer broker and the seller agent. But if somebody takes advantage of your program of doing the upgrades before listing the home, are you tacking on money on the end, or how does that work?
That's what people think too. That's why I'm glad. A lot of times I meet people in my open houses, and I get to get belly to belly with them and tell them how the program works. The programs are very simple, and there is no catch. I charge 3% commission on my end as representing them as the listing agent. With that 3%, instead of reducing my commission, I spend my own money that up to $3,500, and that just comes out of my standard commission. If I don't sell the property in 6 months, I will then lose that money. So I have to firmly believe in the seller, the reason for selling it, and what the upgrades can do to the home and the price you want to sell it at, and firmly believe it can help them, or I won't do the offer of my amazing program. And I've done 11 now in the last year, and they've all worked out really well. So I believe in the product. I know what buyers are looking for, so I can transfer that information to the seller and let them know, and then offer this program.
Right. So you obviously have that program. Why are sellers ultimately hiring you as a listing agent? Because that's primarily what you do, right? You
Correct.
primarily do listings.
Yep.
What is it that keeps you busy? Obviously, you do a high volume amount of deals.
Yeah.
You offer this program, but what value does Brad bring versus the other 40,000 agents in the valley, or
Correct.
why do people ultimately
Correct.
choose you?
Well, it does come down to experience too. I've been doing it for 12 years, so I have the experience. I sell a lot of stuff in the same area, North Scottsdale, mainly in 85260 and areas around that zip code. So they see a lot of my every door direct mail. They see a lot of my Facebook ads. They see a lot of my stuff just happening on regular transactions. So they see that the results are there, and then they hear about the program as well through a friend that already used it or a referral, whatever it may be. And then it's just another piece that allows them to have comfort in using me.
Right.
And that's where a lot of my deals come from, is putting my own money into the product. The product is the key. I mean, a lot of times people are like, well, you're not marketing it right, you're not doing this or that. If it's priced too high and the upgrades aren't in it, and they're trying to get that price, it's very tough if those upgrades aren't there. So I just try to make the product itself, the home, a better selling product.
Right. And are you seeing that in 2018? Are there a lot of sellers with unrealistic expectations of pricing their house? What are some of the pricing strategies, or what should sellers be looking at when they list a home?
The one thing that I deal with the price right away is I pay for a full appraisal up front. So we have an appraiser come into the home, do a full appraisal. A lot of times the sellers are not happy with that number because it might be lower than they expected. But at least now we have some number to go by because it's been fully appraised. Now I tell the seller, hey, we can start higher wherever you're feeling comfortable you want to sell and see if we can get more. But now we at least have a price in front of them. And it's not from my comps. It's from a full appraiser doing his job of $400 to $500 appraisal. So now, with that being said, when they're wondering what's going on and why we're not getting showings, I revisit them to look over the appraisal that we've had done.
Wow, so it does sound like you're doing a lot of the work up front, which oftentimes becomes surprises at the end, right?
Yeah.
So you want to list and maybe overprice the house, and then you get all excited. You got a buyer that's lined up. You're under a contract, and then you get the appraisal in.
Yeah.
And it's we're $30,000 over. Now you have to deal with price reductions. Now everybody's sad about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
you don't want those open, you don't want those expectations to be higher than what they should be. You know what I mean?
Right.
By having that appraisal too, there's been times where I list a property and the lender's appraiser comes in lower than the appraisal that I had.
Really?
So I send them the appraisal we had done, and that helps get the price up.
Ah.
So that appraisal can be used, and again, that appraisal is only given to myself and the sellers. No one else gets to see it. It's not out to the public, so we can control not other people seeing what that price is, but now we can use it if we need to. So the appraisal does come in handy at times for that kind of stuff as well.
I could see that for sure. Awesome. So what are you seeing right now, trends in 2018 in Scottsdale and the areas that you work? Are homes typically sitting on the market for more time than they were in previous years, or are certain price points selling slower or faster than others? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, the market's obviously with the low inventory, it's still crazy. Anything under 450,000 in the North Scottsdale area is selling pretty quickly. Even South Scottsdale's on fire right now. And those homes, if they're priced, somewhere where they should be, they're selling in a couple days, if not a couple hours. So that's going fast. But other areas now, sellers are getting where they're asking a little bit too much on these prices, and that's where my program kind of steps in, which I'm excited for. I like to see the inventory go up a little bit so I can offer my program so they get the free upgrades and can still get that top dollar price they're looking for. But the market's still going to stay strong. Obviously, with interest rates going up a little bit, it's going to cool it off a little bit, but the demand is really, really high still, and the amount of product is low. So it's a very, very healthy seller's market right now.
Right. And this is, real estate related. You're at Realty One Group. Have you always been with Realty One Group?
No,
or?
I was with a small boutique firm before that, League and Realty. I was with them for 5 years, and it was an okay outfit, but I wanted to get with a bigger name so that when people saw my signs and my Every Door Direct Mail and my marketing pieces, they could associate with the company as well. So that was important to me.
So why did you ultimately choose Realty One Group? Because obviously there's a lot of big names out there.
Yeah.
You got Coldwell Bankers, you got Century 21. Why did you ultimately choose Realty One Group? What do you like most about working with them?
Well, the thing, they kind of leave you alone, which is nice because I do all my own marketing. I'm a one-man show. I don't have a coordinator or anything else. I do it all myself, so obviously I work a ton. Having to take care of all the transactions and all the marketing myself. But what I liked about Realty One Group is the fact that John Hall and Associates was initially the company, then Realty One acquired them. And John Hall's been in the Valley for a long time, and they had a good name in the Valley. So I felt it was important to stay with that history, so I enjoyed signing on with them instead of some of the other companies. Just a better fit for me.
Yeah. So what do you like most about being a real estate? Hold on, what did you do prior to real estate?
I graduated from ASU.
Okay, so you went straight into it.
I grew up actually in Wisconsin, and I moved out here 20 years ago. And I used to build homes. My dad owned a bunch of apartment complexes and duplexes and stuff. So I grew up building homes. So that's where my background in construction, knowing these guys and being able to help out with contractors and getting the houses looking better is what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah. So what do you like most about being a real estate agent in the Scottsdale area?
Oh, I just the excitement of the sale, I suppose, and helping people find what they're looking for, and really the enjoyment of impressing people when they can't believe that they could have got that much more for their home when we do these upgrades. Because it doesn't seem like a lot, but you start making these small changes, and it turns into a huge project where, not a huge project, but it turns into a product that is incredible, and people are looking for that, and then you get the proper photos in there, and it looks awesome. I mean, it's a totally different ball game. Then we have I'll have an open house, and it's a fun time. It's a celebration instead of being like, oh, I hope he can get what I'm looking for on this. It changes the whole the process, and it just makes it a lot more exciting because people are excited to see that I'm willing to invest with them as well by putting these upgrades in, and then now we're all invested, and let's get this thing sold and get you some money.
Right. And we know that from a listing agent perspective, one of the biggest tasks that you have at hand, when having a client and you're selling their home is getting more attention, more eyes on that property. So what are some of the activities and things that you do outside of just putting the house on the MLS that gets more traction and maybe help sell the homes for faster outside of your program that we've already talked about?
Yeah, definitely social media obviously is huge. You guys are huge in social media as well. That's a big piece of it. Being on social media and then other accesses of marketing is huge. Being a different advertisement in magazines or Every Door Direct Mail, stuff like that. But, and then also letting my spheres of clients know what's going on too and inviting them. Again, it's always trying to make it an exciting thing. I have a lot of energy, so being excited about the product and excited about the sale and excited for people potentially moving into a new home or moving out to a different chapter in their life, it should be a fun time, and that's kind of what I focus on.
Right. So keeping it, having it fun, and utilizing the current things that are going on in social media and whatnot. So what are you finding that are helping homes, sell the fastest outside of pricing? We know that pricing it right. If you have the most beautiful house and you overprice it by ridiculous number, you're not going to sell it at that. You're not going to sell it, or you're going to get some lower offers. What are the things that you're seeing that is most important for sellers to do in order to sell a home fast?
One thing that I have been finding a lot recently in the last year and a half is, availability. Some of these sellers get their home listed. We do, things to get it ready to go, and then they make it hard to show the property, or they act like it's inconvenient. You have to be ready. When you put your home on the market, it's got to be clean at all times, and it's got to be ready. If you've got issues with pets or something like that, you need to be ready and have a plan, in attack, so that when I do call or I do text you to say, hey, I got a client coming to look at your home, that you're ready. The fact that they're not ready at times, it really hurts a potential buyer, especially in the first 2 to 3 weeks. That's when the buyers want to see the product in the home and embrace it. And if it's looking dirty or it's not available to get into, that really hurts the likelihood of us getting a purchase contract going and getting them sold, selling their home.
And that's a good point, because you can do all the marketing and things to drive traffic to the house, but if they're not available, because there's been times like we bought another house last year, but there were some properties we want to look at, but we weren't able to coordinate and get in there. Well, we just went on to the next, so that's an opportunity that was missed that could have potentially sold the house.
And when you're spending all that money, a lot of times sellers don't think we spend that much money, but when you're advertising the property as a featured listing on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Homes.com, you're paying these monthly fees, you're paying for photography, you're paying for an appraiser, you're paying for all these other things that get the home looking good and on the market. It's not free for us, so we're trying to get the home sold. We're using our time and money to help you get the home sold, and then they deny the access into the house. Makes it pretty tough.
Right. And it sounds like from a seller perspective, you deliver a lot more value than what a traditional real estate agent. They would expect the home seller to pay for the appraisal and do all the upgrades or things that you're doing it. But it sounds like you're bringing a lot to the table, when you're listing a client house, and it comes down to really caring and wanting that person's home sold.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Those things are important, and that's why I'm willing to go in my own pocket and pay for the appraisal, these other upgrades. I think it's more important. And to be honest, like you said, there's 40,000 plus agents in the Valley. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I absolutely love real estate, so I differentiate myself by offering these services that no one else does. You have to do something more. And if I'm going to grind and work hard and offer these other services, I'm hoping to be around for the next 40 years doing this because I love it.
Right. So if somebody watching the show, maybe a real estate agent that want to ask you some questions, or a potential home seller or buyer wants to reach out and hire you for their services or to help list or help them with a buy, how do people go about getting a hold of you?
They could call my phone number at 602-502-4962, or they could reach out on an email at soldbybradaz@gmail, or just go on my website at bradaz.com.
Brad AZ, that's a short one, easy one to remember.
There's another one too if they want to see video testimonials. I got a lot of video testimonials of past clients, and that's newwaytosold.com.
newwaytosold.com. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your
having me, man. I appreciate it.
Pleasure having you in the studio, and we will see you guys on the next episode.